Okay, what we're going to be doing today is starting to carve, but before I do that, we have our plain rubber stamp here. And so what we need to do is transfer our image. So here's my design already cut out. So all I'm doing is flipping the design face down onto the rubber stamp and just kind of lining up the best that I can. And then all I'm going to do is use my pencil and just kind of just go back and forth to transfer the image, and you'll see that happen here in a minute. So I'm just going over the areas I know that I drew my design, and I'm just going to slightly turn this. Just obviously be very careful doing that because you don't want to move. You want the design to stay exactly where it was in the beginning. And if you don't know exactly where your design is, then just do the whole thing. It's not a big deal if you do it that way instead. But I can kind of see where I drew. So I'm just again going over with my pencil. And what this is doing is literally putting pressure, and it's transferring that drawn image on the other side right back onto the eraser. And if you want to take a peek, it's fine, but again, you need to hold it in one place. So I'm just going to lift it up, and it looks good. So let me just do a little bit more here. Okay, and there's my image. So as you can see now, I took the image that I drew, and it literally just transferred it right onto there. So here's my paper design, and here's my stamp. Now ready to go. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be carving the areas where you see the pencil line. So I'm literally going to be taking my carving tool, and it has a sharp edge, so please be very careful. Obviously I could touch it like this, and it's not too bad, but you need to be very careful with this. And also something to remember when you're carving is when you're actually carving into this, you need to make sure that you're not going towards your hand. So I always like to put my hand back here, and then when I'm carving, I'm going away from my hand. So I'm just going to start first with this little design area that I have above the flower, kind of acting as maybe. And all I'm doing is I'm just pushing into, and I'm just going to trace that space there. And you can kind of see how I did a little bit. And all this eraser stuff will come off, and that's no big deal. You just pick it and kind of move it out of the way. So I'm just tracing around, or carving around this where I drew. And that just obviously carved out. It's kind of hard to see, but I literally just carved out that one area here. Now it's important not to hold your carving tool like you're digging into it. You kind of want to hold it parallel with the actual rubber. And so if I wanted to actually carve that area out instead of just outlining it, then I literally would just start carving it out until you get all the little pieces kind of dug out of there, just like this. Okay? So again, that's only if you want maybe this whole space to kind of be white, or you could have just left the outline. So again, you just kind of work at doing that. Now it's really important to try to stay in that outline, so then it's like a nice, neat cutout. So I got that one little area in there done. And now what I'm going to start doing is working on my lines up here. So I'll just do that. And so again, I'm making sure that my tool is parallel with the stamp and it's not digging into it. So you want to make sure it's more held like that. And again, I like to hold mine kind of like this to give me some just some push, or you can hold it like a pencil. It just depends on how you're comfortable holding it. So here I go again. I'm just, again, I know it looks like I'm doing this, but I'm actually holding it parallel to the rubber stamp. And again, I'm just carving in. And if you just lightly carve, it's going to give a thinner line. If you want it to be a little bit thicker, then you're going to push down a little bit. And again, I'm just going parallel. I'm not going like this, parallel. And I'm just carving away that eraser again to make it a little bit thicker. So obviously the more you carve it, the thicker that line is going to get. So again, it's up to you. You have flexibility with that of how you want to do that. So again, you would just keep on carving all your pencil lines, and that's basically it. So again, just be careful and remember the safety rules. Make sure when you're carving away from your hand. So right there, it's kind of towards my hand, so maybe I'll move it back here so I can at least hold my stamp, but again, you don't want it to ever be putting your finger in the way of the blade. So again, you're just carving away, and then just kind of taking those little pieces that you're actually carving away and just getting them out of there. Okay, so you're just going to keep on going over all these pencil lines, and as you can see right now, I carved out right in here, and I actually decided to carve out that whole area, but for the most part, I'm just looking for you to be carving just over the lines, just simple lines. And if you have any questions, you can ask me now.